All right. Hey, my friends, and welcome to this week's episode. And today is exciting because it is the start of a new year and a new decade, right? Which means it's a fresh start for all of us, in all these different areas of our life. And this is kind of that perfect reset moment that we can use to catapult ourselves into reaching our goals, right? And in this case, obviously, we're going to be talking about recovery from mental health and when it comes to anxiety and OCD and different types of struggles. And so what I want to talk about in this episode are three things to help use this moment to propel us into the recovery that we're looking to achieve. Okay. And so point number one that I want to talk about is leaving 2019 back in 2019. And so one of the things that happens when we compare ourselves or look at our progress is we compare ourselves to past experiences and past versions of ourselves, right? And so, if we look at businesses, for example, a lot of people will compare their growth, right? Like 2017, then we had a 20% growth and 25% growth, and they'll measure their growth based on a certain point of time, right? And it's a logical way to track growth, but when we look at that when it comes to recovery, it's good to see how we're improving. But what can happen sometimes is we compare ourselves to when we were at such a low point in our health, and we see progress, and we don't realize that there's potentially exponential improvement that can happen, and we kind of have these limitations we put on of what we expect we can actually improve, right? Hopefully that makes sense with what I'm saying. It's like we think, okay, well, I've improved like 50% from here, or, X amount of percentage, instead of expecting the idea that, hey, we can use this time, and regardless of what has happened in the past, like from this point forward, we can have exponential growth or exponential success in our recovery, right? And we don't need to bring in our past experiences. So maybe you're struggling with anxiety or OCD or depression, and you've struggled for a long time, and I'm talking in some cases months and even years, sometimes even decades, right? When I talk to people, and what happens is we take these years and this length of time that we've struggled, and we assume that there almost has to be this equal length of time that it's going to take to recover, right? Or because we've struggled for so long, maybe recovery isn't possible for us, right? We hold on to these beliefs, and these beliefs then dictate how we act and behave, and which then perpetuates the issue, right? And so with 2020, coming in here into the new year, I want to talk about a few things, right? And the first thing, obviously, is that idea of leaving the past in the past, right? 2019, 2018, and all the years before that were just that. They're things that happened already. And there's been good things that happen. There's been bad things that happen. There's been things that we've learned, lessons, and all of that stuff is good. But what we want to do is we want to start fresh with the idea that, hey, look, this can be the year that things actually do turn around for you, right? Whatever that means. And we don't want to bring the baggage of our past experiences and hinder the things that are actually possible for us this year. Okay? We don't want to have that stuff get carried over into the possibilities for this year coming up. And so one of the ways that we have to do that is we have to kind of go through the year, right, of 2019, and you can write down the good things that happened, the bad things that happened, and ultimately, thank the year for the lessons that it taught you and let it go. Everyone has their ways of doing that, but really putting that in the past, right? And starting from this point moving forward. Okay. And then the second thing that I want to talk about is this idea of believing in recovery, and believing that recovery is something that you can achieve, that is possible for you. So oftentimes, like we hear stories of people that recover, and we think, well, that's great that it's happened for them, but it's not possible for me. But what we don't understand is that when we adopt beliefs, however we adopt them, right? They're just that. They're beliefs. That's all they are. But the problem is that our beliefs dictate how we act. And what you believe, you may not realize this, is so critical to your success. Because if you're gonna go into the recovery process and start implementing, behavior change and treatment techniques, and you're operating in the belief that recovery is not possible for you, well, of course, it's almost going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy there. But conversely, if you operate from the belief that, okay, recovery is possible, I can recover and I will recover, the behavior that's going to follow that belief is going to be exponential to the belief that recovery is not possible. Does that make sense? It's like what we believe is gonna propel our behavior, which is ultimately going to help our success in one way or another, whether it's a negative belief or a positive belief. And so, the second main point that I want to talk about, and I really encourage you as we move into this new year, is to really adopt the belief that recovery is possible for you. And at Restored Minds, like that's what we believe. I've experienced it not only myself, but with so many other people that have gone through our programs and stuff. It's like people hold on to these beliefs because maybe some therapist told them, oh well, this is a chronic illness, like you're going to have this forever, or and just that statement alone, they latched onto that idea and held it as their belief, and then that limits and dictates how they act from here on out. And what I'm suggesting and what I'm offering today is this idea of letting go of that belief and adopting the beliefs that you choose, not that someone else sets for you. All right. And then the final point that I want to talk about as we move into this new year is just this idea of taking full responsibility for your health. And I mean this physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? The complete thing, right? I mean, at Restored Minds, I know we focus a lot on mental health, but we by all means don't only focus on mental health. We know that mental health is just one aspect of health, and physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, they all come together to form your overall health, and that's really what we're looking for is overall health, overall restoration. And so, this year, I just want you to ask yourself this, is just this idea of what does it mean for you to be fully responsible for your health? Because a lot of times with our health, we love to put our health in the hands of someone else. Well, you don't understand. It's the companies that make processed foods. That's why I'm not, healthy, right? Or, my therapist, XYZ, right? Or my mom won't do this, or, I mean, we love to figure out reasons why we can't get better, and we love to put those on external things, right? Whether they're people, places, organizations, whatever, right? But when we talk about taking full responsibility for your health, I want you to ask yourself what that means as we move into this year. I want you to ask yourself, like, hey, what does it mean for me to be 100% responsible for my health, for my mental health, emotional health, all that? And what does it mean, and what will that look like if I was actually 100% responsible? That if I looked at everything I could do and I took 100% advantage and being fully responsible for that, what would that look like? And more importantly, what kind of results do you think you could achieve if you actually embrace this idea that you were fully responsible for your health? Now, that doesn't mean you can't get assistance, right? You can't get guidance from other people, but you decided to be responsible and not put it on anyone else. And, when we do that, when we actually frame it like that for ourselves, it makes us look at the problem differently. It makes us look at the problem in a way that, like, okay, well, and we have to start asking ourselves different questions, which then propels different beliefs, which then propels different behavior, which propels different results, right? And that's really what I want this year to be about for you guys, is about, is getting results, right? That's what we're about, with this organization here. And so, I know we took a little break from our series on intrusive thoughts, and I just wanted to shoot this, episode because, as we move in this new year, I do think it's such a pivotal time and we can use this time as a really good opportunity to, to break out of old habits, to old beliefs, and really propel ourselves on the right path, moving forward here. So just to quickly recap again, as we move forward, let go of the past, let go of 2019, leave it in 2019, make this year your year, and, really choose to adopt the belief in recovery. I think that's, like, and embrace that idea fully that you can recover and that you will recover. And it's just a matter of you finding the right tools, right time, and right guidance. And if you aren't a part of the community, I really encourage you to check out Restored Minds, where we have our online support, and we also have our trainings, and we also have a bunch of free resources available for you as well. And so I'll incorporate some links down in the notes below. And then finally, just that last concept of taking full responsibility for your health. And so I just want to wish all of you a happy new year as we move forward together. And this year, I'm going to be committing to making at least one episode a week, hopefully more. And that's just my commitment to you guys, and I really want for you to make this the year that things turn around for you. And so thank you so much for tuning in this week. I really hope you guys have a wonderful year full of amazing adventure and awesome experiences. And as we go on this journey together, I'm gonna just keep doing my best to deliver as much helpful information as I can to hopefully help you on your journey to recovery. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week on the Restored Mind Show.